So we've chatted about making business decisions that are right for you, right for me, right for us, right for all. And we've also covered how to identify when you're working with someone that maybe isn't playing by the same rules you are. But how can we tie it all together? How can we minimize playing in the gray areas that leave our results something to be desired? I'm Jana Henneman, and this is part 3 on making business decisions that work for all. Today we're bringing part 1 and part 2 together. We're going to focus on creating a long-term impact by making those business decisions that truly work for all. These are decisions that will stand the test of time, even when things don't always go to plan. Before we go any further, let's revisit the foundation. Right for you means every decision should honor your values, your boundaries, and your long-term vision. Right for me, the decision needs to also respect other people's values and boundaries and their goals. Right for us, the business decision should foster collaboration and mutual benefit for everyone involved. And right for all, it should impact people positively, even indirectly. When all 4 of these align, you've built the foundation for sustainable success. But let's be real, aligning all 4 isn't always easy. So how do you apply this framework to long-term decisions? This is going to require a little bit more than just having good intentions. It requires strategy, communication, and adaptability. So asking yourself questions as you're going through this process can help you clarify whether a business decision is right for all. Does the decision align with your values and your goals? For example, when I first started my business, I had to turn down some lucrative opportunities, mainly because they didn't align with my purpose. For example, I had a client who wanted to pay me commission only for any sales that I brought in, which I thought was fine, but I was wrong. I remember the first 3 pieces of business that I brought in. He ended up turning down all of them, basically because he felt like he didn't want to do the jobs. Keep in mind that I had aligned with him on what he was looking for, the size of the job, the scope, all of that. And all 3 of these pieces of business aligned with those. But at the end, he turned them all down. Well, here I am going out and I'm busting myself trying to bring in business so that I can make a commission. And now you're turning down everything? It didn't just waste my time, but it was affecting my paycheck as well. Eventually, I had to terminate the partnership. And saying no wasn't easy, but it did free me up to go be successful elsewhere. Another key to long-term impact is to respect everyone else's goals. It's all about collaboration. Here's a question you can ask yourself. Am I listening to their needs and considering their perspective? So I once worked with someone who I referred to pretty regularly. We weren't in the same business, but as I met with clients of mine and found out that they had a need that I couldn't fill, I would send it to this person. She was quite excited about it, and feeling like I could pass her a lot more business, she ended up quitting her full-time job. And when I wasn't referring regularly enough to her, she would become angry with me. Feeling the tensions between us grow, we sat down to discuss and alleviate any of these tensions. I had to make it clear with her that I wasn't her full-time salesperson. I had my own business that I was running. As I had clients that came to me that had a need she could fill, yes, I would pass her those referrals. But her depending on me full-time to make her money was not in our agreement. Luckily, we still worked together. We just had to alleviate those tensions. Which brings me to fostering mutual benefit. This is really where the magic happens. For any business decision to work long-term, it has to benefit everyone involved. As you're going through this process, you can ask yourself, how does this decision strengthen our relationship and our collaboration? So for example, at We&Co, we've built a community that thrives on mutual benefit. When we host events, we're not just creating opportunities for our members, we're strengthening the entire network. By focusing on these shared wins, we create a positive ripple effect that benefits everyone, not just a few. Next, considering the broader impact. You can ask yourself throughout this process, how does this decision affect everyone who's impacted, even indirectly? Take the plastic example from video 1. When plastic was first created, it seemed like an all-win solution. It was right for you, right for me, right for us, but it wasn't right for all. It now impacts everyone on the planet, and today we're living with the consequences. But what happens when you're checking all 4 of these boxes and things still fall apart? Even when you sometimes try to check all 4 boxes, things don't always go as planned, but that's okay. What matters is how you respond to things when things fall apart. We like to call it respondability. How respond-able are you when things don't go as planned? Do you react or do you respond? For example, in nature, if there's a mama bear, she doesn't go down to the river and get as much fish as she can for her cub so that he'll never have to fish. No, she teaches him to fish. That's how she teaches him to be respond-able in situations. The same is really important in business as well. For example, we've all had business collaborations that looked great on paper, but after a while it might have become clear that our priorities weren't the same. Instead of trying to force it to work, take a step back, reassess, and adjust your approach in future partnerships. This will help you avoid similar situations down the line. Long-term thinking matters. When you focus on decisions that are right for all, you're not just solving today's problems, you're building a legacy. Long-term thinking requires patience, persistence, and the courage to do what's right even when it's not easy. For example, a colleague of mine built their business on relationships, not just transactions. Early on, they chose to invest in their clients' success, even when it didn't immediately benefit their bottom line. Years later, those same clients became their biggest advocates. They not just regularly pass them referrals, but they've helped to create opportunities that they never could have imagined. So your challenge, as we close out this series, revisit the 4 pillars. Right for you, right for me, right for us, right for all. Identify one decision you've made recently that didn't align with these principles. What can you learn from it? Another challenge is to strengthen one relationship this week. And do it by focusing on mutual benefit. And lastly, make one long-term decision that prioritizes sustainable impact over short-term gains. Sustainable success is not about quick wins or even perfection. It's about making intentional decisions that work for everyone involved and learning to adapt and respond when things don't go as planned. If this series has helped you, please like, follow, subscribe, and sign up for our weekly newsletter. I'm Yana Henneman, and I will see you this time next week.